All right, chat. This is comparing every Pixar Cars game. Let's get into it.
If you remember crashing into the citizens of
Is this the first one? This better be the first one, right? Or like a DS game? Because those graphics are insanely basic, bro.
Radiator Springs, blowing up Lightning McQueen, or wondering why on earth cars need a Ferris wheel, then you grew up playing Disney Pixar's Cars. But which
I grew up playing this one. In fact, I have it on Steam. I've rebought the game. I have literally... It's right here. I have rebought the game. I had it on PlayStation 2. I still have the physical disc. I just don't have a PlayStation 2 anymore. But yeah, I grew up playing the one in the corner here.
Which one? Because there were a total of 35 different Cars games
35? Are you counting the Mater one too?
released, and in this video we're going to compare all of them.
Okay, but why do they all look like shit though? Like they all have super basic graphics. Why don't we have a Cars AAA title game?
This is by far the most games I've ever compared in one video, so let's get straight into it with the very first entry, the console tie-in game for the original movie released in 2006.
Now, this was literally my favorite game back in the day. This and Barnyard.
Now, despite being a movie tie-in, this game is
I am beyond pissed off that they have not put Barnyard on Steam yet. But, like, why would they? You know, like, at least Cars, it's Cars. Everybody knows what Cars is. Not everybody knows what Barnyard is. But that was my favorite game back in the day.
actually said after the event.
Before I got to Midnight Club 3 and those early Need for Speed PS2 games, Cars, Barnyard were my favorite games. They were also my first video games, but that's besides the point.
Of the film and follows McQueen as he tries to win the Piston Cup. Now, it would have been very easy for the developers to make this whole game just a series of generic races with some cutscenes in between, but Rainbow Studios decided to do something different. They made this into an open world game. That's right, this is
It's beyond badass. The fact that you can just go around the entire area is actually wild. You can go to every location that's shown in the movie, the first movie. You can't, like, drive around the stadium. You can do races there, but other than that, like, Radiator Springs is open world. And there's a shit ton to explore, too.
Grand Theft Radiator Springs. Hey, screw you and your fuel flow. F your tires, Luigi. Ka-chow, you old bag.
Hey, ready to go racing?
Shut up, Mac. Oh my god, you can see inside him. And just like Grand Theft Auto, this game also has a soundtrack made up of real-world songs. It's mostly classic rock, country, and Americana, and all-American rejects. The developers also did a really nice job of recreating Radiator Springs with all the locations from the movie.
A fantastic
Plus, you have
job,
all the characters
actually.
from the movie, and they're voiced by the original cast.
Wow, sounds like I better get busy.
The open world is split into 3 main areas, and for the most part they act as hub zones for story races and customization locations where you can give Lightning a bunch of different paint jobs. But putting these
Whoa, there's more? How did I not...
customization
Okay.
locations where you can give Lightning
The blue one is where it stopped at for me. I've never seen any of them past that.
a bunch of different paint jobs. But putting these
Bro, that gray and white one?
customization locations where you can give Lightning a bunch of different paint
Or blue and white, I guess. I would have had this on all day if I knew this existed.
jobs. But putting these sandbox elements aside, most of the game is going to consist of you racing as Lightning McQueen across the wider Radiator Springs area. The campaign is divided across 5 chapters, and at the end you race across one of the speedways where you spend 12 laps turning left. The story ends at the Los Angeles Speedway, and I always thought the developers did a great job of making it look so huge, even if the stadium is filled with 2D car spectators. Every now and then you will play as other characters like Luigi collecting tires, the sheriff chasing the racers, and these hoodlums trying to catch up to Mac. My favorite left field mission in this game is where McQueen becomes a monster truck.
No, that one was fun. I never beat this game to this day. I still need to go back and do that.
I've always wondered how painful was this conversion. Was it like Darth Vader when he gets his new limbs? Look, you can see the pain hiding in his eyes. You also have a few mini-games like the postcard hunt.
Yes! Bro, me driving off a cliff over and over and over and over and over, trying to make it to the location that I needed to. And then I made it one time, and I was going too fast and I fell off the other side of the cliff. That shit pissed me off.
And of course the tractor tipping. The driving mechanics themselves were always a bit of a low point when it came to this game. Now, I realized that the developers weren't going for a Gran Turismo style simulator, but they could have tightened things up just a bit. But hey, at least you get this fun two-wheel move to help you turn around bends. Plus, there is also an arcade mode which you can play in both single and two-player split screen. Now, despite its driving mechanics, the original Cars game has become somewhat of a classic amongst licensed games, mainly for its faithfulness to the movie and relentless levels of charm.
And my colleague Gerald and I were hoping to engage your attention in a little competitive excursion.
Was that English?
A few months later, Disney would also release a version for the Wii and 360.
They had one with updated graphics?
This one would have improved graphics and a few extra characters and missions.
What?
Staying with the original game, let's move on to the PSP version. And this one has a different story and structure. There is no sandbox elements, instead Lightning McQueen has to do a bunch of races to win Radiator Springs back from this car gang.
Tell you what, let's race. You guys win, stay as long as you like. If we win, you're out of here.
Now, the driving mechanics here actually feel a lot better than they did in the flagship version. They just feel way more dynamic and responsive, plus you get these boost arrows built into the tracks. When people think of the first Cars game, they probably think of the console version, but this one is actually really good as well. Now, staying with the handhelds, there was also a version released for the Game Boy Advance. This one combines elements from the flagship like the story, along with the level structure and the track boost from the PSP game. It also looks really nice for a GBA game, but it has one massive problem, the perspective. You just can't see far enough during the race and you don't have enough time to turn. And why are all these random commuter cars on the racetrack? And finally, we have...
And why don't they have faces?
Time to
Wait,
turn.
that one does.
And why are all these
That one clearly would not have a face if it was facing the other direction. Oh my gosh.
random commuter cars on the racetrack? And finally, we have the DS version, which is a random commuter cars on the racetrack. And finally,
what the fuck is that? No, literally, what the fuck is that?
we have the DS version, which is a classic collection of touchscreen minigames and some basic top-down racing that's not really racing, you just have to move out of the way. And speaking of minigames, it wouldn't be a 2000s
Wait, so it's a Subway Surfers Cars game.
Pixar movie without a PC minigame collection, this one titled Radiator Spring Adventures. And I'll be honest, this game has a really creepy vibe about it. Look, the cars just stare into space when they talk to each other, and all the other cars aside from the main characters are grayed out.
It's not easy being the only doctor in town these days.
This one's just a normal car, bro.
Well, good luck with that.
Most of the minigames are pretty simple and
Good luck with
generic,
that.
apart from this one where you play as Doc. So is this like the car's equivalent of trying to pass a kidney stone, or are they just constipated?
I still got it.
Now, Cars ended up being a massive and somewhat unexpected hit for Pixar, so Disney wasted no time firing up the merchandise.
Oh,
machine.
you know how
And
many of these I had when I was younger, bro? My parents sold all of them.
Following year, amongst an avalanche of toys, we'd also get Meta National Championship, which was also developed by Rainbow Studio in less than a year for all the same consoles as before, except for the PSP, but they did add a PlayStation 3 version this time. Now, the short development cycle is very evident with this one. In fact, it kind of feels like DLC for the first game. It still uses Radiator Springs as the main hub.
Hey, kid.
Now, some of the sections have been slightly altered.
That does seem like a bugged out version of a higher quality remake of it.
Or closed off.
Why?
The story itself is pretty basic and revolves around a tournament hosted by Meta in Radiator Springs. This time around, most of the movie's cast have been replaced with sound-alikes,
You do know you're on the wrong side of the road, right?
and quite a few of the characters are also missing, replaced with these international cars. Most of the new content comes in the form of new cars and tracks. In addition to the regular Radiator Spring tracks, we also have the new stadiums, which are actually proper tracks, and this time you can turn both left and right. You also have the Rust Bucket tracks, the Monster Truck races, and team races, which are pretty much just a relay. You can tell that the developers tried to tighten up the driving and physics, but they do still feel a bit off. As for the new cars, they're comprised of these 5
So it's a better but also shittier version of the original one then. Huh. Maybe I'll have to play it at some point. He said PS3, right? I would have to get this on PS3 then.
international races, including the German
I'd have to go to a GameStop and buy the game.
guy,
I see you like to win.
I don't even know where a GameStop is.
the Italian guy,
I have a winning record that matches my look, you know?
and the hyperactive English girl.
Brilliant! Let's go!
You also get some new mini-games like Ramon's Rhythm Game and Mike and Sully's Laugh Gas Challenge. That's right, these two are just randomly in this game for some reason. Okay,
No, it's because they were cameo in the movie at the end in the credits scenes.
let's move on to the handhelds. Now, there was a DS version. This one does a decent enough job of adapting the flagship version. There's no hub, and instead you go from race to race across condensed and simplified version of tracks from the console game. All 6 of the international races are here, but some of their pupils look a bit too big. They must have been sipping on a bit too much of Fillmore's gas, if you know what I mean. Now, amazingly enough, this 2007 game
Oh my god, why does Mater look like
also
that?
had a Game Boy
Mater just looks like a big turd.
Advanced version, which was visually really impressive. This one is a full-on 3D racer. Sure, many of the vehicles have been cut and most of the tracks are in the desert, but look, the cars are in 3D. Now, Meta
That
National
just hurts my eyes.
Championship may have been a quick cash grab, but it sold really well, which meant that Disney released a 3rd sequel a year later. Cars Racer-Rama was developed by Incinerator Studios, who did the Wii and 360 ports of the first 2 games. And this one was released on all the same consoles as Meta National Championship plus the PSP. Now, the 3 Radiator Springs areas still serve as a hub. However, they have been stitched together into one big zone. In
Huh.
addition to that, Racer-Rama also includes 4 new hub zones that you can travel to via Mac. We've got
Wait, what?
Metropolis, a built-up city area, Otovia, an industrial desert area, the Radiator Springs Speedway built in the last game, and channeling its inner GTA, we've got Santa Carbonara. Unfortunately,
Okay, so this has got to be the best one then, right? Is it gonna get better than that?
the only crimes
Also, why is Lightning McQueen a different car?
you can commit here are running over signs and post boxes. And seeing all of these locations brings up a lot of questions about the Cars universe. Why do cars ride on Ferris wheels? Can cars get a tan? And if this universe is populated by vehicles, then who the hell are the pedestrian sidewalks for? The graphics are a bit better, especially on the HD version.
I mean, your paint can wear off from the sun. So maybe that? I don't know.
versions, and this definitely feels like a bit more of a standalone game when compared to the second one. This time around, the story revolves around Lightning McQueen and friends going up against Chick Hicks and the disciples of his racing academy. Racerama definitely has the best driving mechanics of the 3 games, plus they've also included a reworked drifting mechanic which is quite fun. There's also new paint jobs for Lightning McQueen, plus a whole bunch of body customization options including this off-road mode. In addition to all the cars and tracks you'd expect from the first 2 games, Racerama also introduces the Guido kart races and 3 mini-games from the Mater shorts, including Mater the Greater, Tokyo Mater, and the El Matador.
Bulldozers is even dumber than tractors.
And whilst it still doesn't quite capture the charm of the original game, the console version of Racerama is the most complete and feature-rich out of the 3 games. Racerama also had a PSP and DS version. Both of them are the same game, only with a slight graphical bump up on the PSP. It follows the same plot as the console version, but this time there's no open world, instead you go from level to level. There is also a store function which you can use to purchase upgrades and make repairs in between races. Now, the franchise took a break from console releases in 2010, but came back in a big way the following year with the release of Cars 2, which naturally had its own heap of tie-in games. Let's start with the flagship version released for consoles and PC, and this game, developed by Avalanche Software, changes things up a bit. There's not really much of a story. It features characters and stages from the second movie, but the setup is that Lightning and Mater are training to become spies in the Chrome facility doing a bunch of simulations, which means
Yeah, I think I tried this game on DS and I hated it.
that the campaign consists of a bunch of different missions. And
I don't know how different it is for other he said it wasn't on console, right?
these do a pretty good job of introducing you to the gameplay mechanics. It starts off feeling like a pretty standard arcade racer, but then more and more elements get thrown in and you realize that this is actually a Mario Kart style battle racer. Now, I know that a lot of people weren't fans of this game when it first came out, but as far as licensed kart racers go, this one's not even that bad. There are 25 unlockable characters, 5 different play modes, 15 tracks, 6 arenas, and all of the weapons and items you'd expect. The physics can be a bit all over the place, but it's worth playing just to try out all the different international maps. For example, look at London. Why are there phone booths that the cars can't fit inside? And who thought it was a good idea to run the Eurostar through the center of the city? Also, we've got these statues of car angels, which suggest the existence of car god. Too bad the spectators are still two-dimensional. Now, there was also a DS version which actually covers the plot of the movie. There are 2 main types of play modes.
Oh, so it is different. I still hated it. I think it's because I hate the plot of the movie in general.
We've got the racing sections, and these actually feel really fast-paced. And then you have the stealth sections, which don't. You've been spotted by a lemon. That's not a lemon, that's a car. There is also a 3DS version, which is the same as the DS game, only with slightly better graphics. Here is a quick comparison. Now, there was also a PSP version of Cars 2, and naturally you'd think that it would just be a port of the 3DS game, right? Nope, this one is a weird slot car racing type game. So all you do is just move left and right, but to make things worse, the camera also keeps moving around so you get directionally distorted and crash. And oh yeah, this is the only version where Lightning McQueen actually blows up and dies. I mean, you do get some elements from the console version, like the shield and the boost, plus you can jump, but it doesn't exactly work.
I can't believe they sell games like that. Like, it made sense when it was an actual arcade game and nothing like this had existed before. But when you sell something like this, when Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil, God of War, Call of Duty, all these things exist and you're selling a game like this, why? Why are we doing that?
Just a really strange decision by Disney to dedicate the money and resources to making this weird, broken game from scratch when they could have just ported the DS game. Okay, that's it for all the console and handheld versions of Cars 2. But before we move on to Cars 3, I'm going to quickly go through all the smaller, miscellaneous games that didn't really fit anywhere else. The most popular of which is probably The World of Cars, an online MMO which lets you create your own car and race against other players and characters from the movie. In addition to that, we also had Mater's Tall Tales, another collection of mini-games for the PC and Wii. There was also about half a dozen browser-based Flash games for all 3 of the movies, and 5 different mobile games for iOS and Android. And of course, we can't forget the educational games like Cars Supercharged for the Leapfrog Leapster, Cars Mazzies World Championship for the Sega Beaner, Cars Rev It Up Radiator Springs for the V-Smile Learning System, and Cars in the Fast Lane for the V-Flash Home Education. Oh, fuck it, I don't even know why I'm doing these. Alright, let's move on to Cars 3, released all the way in 2017 for the 7th and 8th generation of consoles. And this is one of the last tie-in movie games ever. So what did Disney do with this licensed game swan song? Well, they asked Avalanche to make a sequel to Cars 2. And in a super short time frame too. Apparently the developers only had about 6 months to finish this game. Now, this one has a bit more of a plot than its predecessor, but not by much. Set after the events of the 3rd movie, the plot follows Lightning McQueen as he continues.
Bro, they put shadows and shit on it, and it's still, the graphics look bad. How did this happen?
His racing career, and all of this is framed through Chick Hicks's new talk show, which also acts as the main menu. Oh, and this one also has the worst Owen Wilson sound-alike I've ever heard.
Racing's something you have to feel and experience.
There's no missions this time around. Instead, you just do races, events, and circuits in whichever order you'd like, and completing them will give you skill checks, which in turn unlock more content. Now, gameplay-wise, it's pretty much just Cars 2 with a few tweaks. For example, we now have the 2-wheel and reverse speed arrows, plus the ability to grab things. Naturally, there are a bunch of new maps and characters from the 3rd movie, in addition to 5 returning maps from the 2nd game, which means we still get London with all of its unnecessary phone booths. But hey, at least the audience is now finally in 3D. This game was also released in the age of Rocket League,
people
which means that
upgrades.
the cars have a bunch of customizable wheel and exhaust flame colors, if that's your thing. Oh look, Max finally had enough of driving McQueen around and started racing himself. The battle mode is more chaotic
That's
than
wild.
ever. Oh, come on, Guido. Why you gotta do me like that? And if you set this game to hard mode, the CPU
Guido's a
races
savage.
are impossible to beat. Just like with Cars 2, there is no online play, but everything in this game can be played via 2 to 4 player split screen, which is definitely the best way to play this game. Overall, Cars 3 can be fun with a second player for about an hour. It's not going to stick in anyone's mind like the original game, but Avalanche did do a decent job given the super short development time. And so there we
I do like the updated maps, though.
but every version of every
look good.
Cars game ever made. Wow, what can I say? You can see why Cars raked in over $19 billion in merchandise sales alone. Personally, I think the series peaked with the charming first entry. However, the later battle races can still be pretty fun to play with a friend or a younger sibling. But that's just my take. Please let me know your memories of Pixar's Cars in the comments below. Which was your favorite game, and why are there buses in the world of Cars? As always, thanks for watching.
I gotta play that 3rd update of the original game that they made. This was a good video. Subscribe to bro. And subscribe to me too.
Let's up those numbers!
I'll see y'all later. I think I'm gonna go take a nap. Anyways, bye.